All right, everybody, let's make some pancakes together. I promise you, you're gonna like this one. So get out your pen and your paper and have your remote close, okay, in case you need to pause. So I know it seems like the long way to sift everything, but it is the way to go. I promise you, because you don't want to have a lot of flour. It's going to make your pancakes kind of tough and gross. You want them to be light and fluffy, okay? So when you measure your flour, make sure that you take a couple scoops and you're kind of fluffing your flour. You don't want to just scoop a bunch of flour in your cup and then pat it down. You don't want to do that to your flour. You want to just kind of play around with it a little bit and then loosely have your cup full and shake some off and you'll be good to go. I'll show you guys how I do it. So I'm going to throw in everything here. I've got the flour. I'm going to put the vanilla, the sugar, and sift it all together. Now I do, for this recipe, if I don't have salted butter, is when I'll put the half a teaspoon of salt. And this time in that little bowl there, I have melted salted butter because I had some Blue Bonnet from the 99-cent store, and that's salted, just in case, everybody doesn't know. But Blue Bonnet is salted already. Okay, so I have that butter already cooled and melted. I have that 1 large egg. I have the cup and a half of milk right there. And now I'm going in with the sugar. So I'm going to toss in the baking powder. It's 4 teaspoons, so there's 3 teaspoons to a tablespoon. So I'm going to do a tablespoon and a teaspoon, as you'll see here. I don't really level out the baking powder just because that's the component that makes things rise, and I like baking powder, so I don't, I leave it clumpy. I just scoop it up and you'll see what I do here. I love sifting things. It's really the way to go. If you don't have one, I'll make sure to leave a link so you can get one. So there's the baking powder, tablespoon, and then the teaspoon. All of that right there is just the baking powder. It's clumpy. It happens. So I'm just going to break it through this screen here. And this doesn't alter the flavor. You don't even know it's there. Now, baking soda, on the other hand, that alters the flavor. But baking powder does not. So I'm going to mix in all the wet ingredients in the milk there. And then just incorporate everything in the end. But you do want to scramble that egg. So you can either scramble it before, or you can do what I'm doing here, is just doing it in the milk. Whatever works for you. All right, so I'm going in with the sour cream. I grabbed a spoon and started scooping this out. This is a little bit messy, but you can have this already measured out beforehand just to make it easier for you. So I'm mixing in that sour cream, and I already have my little storage container where I'm going to keep the pancake batter. It's over there. This will last in your fridge up to about 3 days, but it doesn't last in my house. Sometimes we'll have it for dinner too. If anybody knows me, they know that I love breakfast. All right, friends, this batter is meant to be a little bit on the lumpy side, so don't over mix it. So I'm just making sure now, as I'm mixing along, that I'm scraping everything from the side and flour from the bottom. So I'm light-handed here, even though it may not look like it. I'm just trying to make sure I get the liquid all mixed in with the dry. So as we're going along here, I can already see that the baking powder is activating because there's pockets of little bubbles. See? So that's good. The baking powder is good. All right, cool. So I kept seeing little pockets of flour, but once you're like, okay, it's all mixed in, there's no more flour, stop mixing. Now, pancake batter has to rest so that the baking powder activates and does its thing. So after you're done mixing it and you're going to store it, you're going to put it in your container, put it in the fridge for 10 minutes. I just put my timer on, and then you're good to go. All right, guys, so there's a few things to know about when making pancakes. My daughter loves the silver dollar ones, so I just use a little tablespoon's worth. And again, back to the baking powder. It's doing its thing because you can see that there's little holes. So the baking powder creates like air pockets. Makes things rise. But once you drop the batter on the pan and it hits the heat, you can't fuss with the pancake. You have to let it cook in that spot, in that shape. And you only flip a pancake once. All right, so we're gonna flip the pancake here in a minute. I didn't butter the pan because there's butter already in the batter, but I dropped the batter when it wasn't fully preheated, I guess. So that's why I had a hard time there, but it worked out. So like I said before, you don't flip a pancake more than once. After you do this flip, you just serve it right away. And these are mommy pancakes. This size is like about 1/4 of a cup. But anyways, you guys, thank you so much. Please let me know if you make this recipe. I know that you guys will enjoy this as much as we do. Take care.